Hi. I just finished recording something, so I'm like hopping on. I can't remember which of these I need to put in. Okay, so I wanted to hop on and I just don't like the way that sounds. I just want to hop in and talk about one of the things that's getting ready to, actually it's already in progress, and that is the square between Uranus and Saturn. And square basically means that it will be something that requires or causes some tension. Tension is not always bad. Like, you can't create without tension. Literally, sexually, you can't create without tension. And in anything else you do. There's tension between a paintbrush and a canvas. There's tension everywhere. But tension is usually uncomfortable for humans, especially in the areas that these places will be in your birth chart. And that means that we're going to have to be faced with the choice of which thing we're going to lean into, or if we're going to take both things into account. Okay, so Uranus is the planet of big, fast lightning strike changes. Hi, Hatfield. So Uranus is the planet of big, sudden changes, and right now it is in the sign of Taurus. And if you don't know where that is in your birth chart, you can look up a free one on astrology.com, or even better, book a session with me so I can tell you about it. And so depending on where it is in your chart, it will manifest in a different way. But because it's in Taurus, Taurus is an earth sign, so it's going to be a very grounded, tangible change that you'll be asked to make. Hey, Hatfield. That you'll be asked to make. Also, Uranus is like a strike of lightning. So every astrologer that I actually like and I think is well informed, all of them sort of have this little like inside joke about astrologers never really knowing what's coming when there's Uranus involved. Like, we can predict a lot of stuff and we can give the flavor of a lot of things, but somehow whenever Uranus is activated or involved, we never ever seem to get the guess right. Like, it is just the most prolific, I don't know. It's just a very prolific energy, and sometimes it really sucks, but a lot of the time it's just very innovative, right? And innovation can't happen if you're doing the same thing over and over. That's just insanity. So, but it's just really, it's almost something that I revere, the energy of Uranus. So that's going to be activated. The thing that makes this a little bit more sticky is that it's squaring Saturn. Now, Saturn is very happy in the kingdom that it's in right now, the kingdom of Aquarius. Like, Saturn designed the kingdom of Aquarius. Aquarius is the zodiac sign, Saturn's the planet. So Saturn is very happy where he is, but Saturn is the ruler of time. Usually Saturn asks us to slow down. Restriction, it's if you ever have done a reading with me, I usually tell you that it's the grandfather planet of the zodiac. It really likes tradition, restrictions, rules, and it's not because it's being petty, it's because it wants you to have a good foundation, which like grandparents do, right? Like, they want for you to have discipline so that you don't go out and blow any money that you might inherit from them, like that kind of thing. Also, they want to make sure that you're safe. And so Saturn, especially in like the first 30 years of life, Saturn can sometimes, depending on how it feels and where it's placed, what kingdom it's in, it can be a little heavy. But as adults with Uranus, it usually asks for a change, doing something that is pretty well ingrained. And so it does create a little bit more resistance when we're asked to change it. So I kind of want to give you a heads up, because Uranus, if you don't change what is asking you to change, it will not let up. It will, you will know for sure this is the area of life, because it will keep repeating. And the worst part about it, if you force it to keep repeating, you'll never know how to expect it to show back up. But it will be, and because it's Saturn, I really want for people to pay attention, because whenever Saturn's involved, we're talking about root changes. So we're not talking about relationship changes, like when Venus is involved, or what else would there be? We're not even talking about fiery tension that burns quickly, you had a fight and it's over. You did some damage, but it's over. This is Saturn, so this is a foundational energy. So whatever's popping up for you right now really needs to be looked at. The other reason why I'm coming on here and being kind of strong about it is because both of the planets are in retrograde, which means that we are asked to go within ourselves and revisit whatever is being brought to our attention right now. We are asked to reevaluate. Sorry, it's Mercury retrograde and my brain is tired. I just recorded an educational video. I didn't realize how much effort it would take. So thank you, Mercury retrograde, for making me reflect on that. Reflect. Anything that involves the prefix RE, redesign, redistribute, whatever. That's what's being asked of you. And since it's being asked of you in those two ways and until October the 4th, in the area of communication and thought, it's going to be a pretty huge earthquake. Uranus is known for earthquakes. So there's going to be an earthquake of events that come from this time period if things are not addressed completely. And even though these changes can come out of nowhere and can be sudden, you may not always feel the impact of them right away, especially with Saturn. Saturn tends to be late to the party, not because Saturn's off doing something fun, but because a little OCD, got to check the door 100 times, to make sure everything's locked, kind of thing. Now, Saturn in Aquarius is more revolutionary, but revolution only happens when you have something that has been established that has to be crumbled, right? So it's still kind of intense. And I want for you guys to be prepared to look for this so that you don't feel like the universe hates you if something big does happen. I feel like I lost part of my train of thought. Yeah. Well, whatever it is, whatever is happening, just make sure that you stop and revisit. If it feels like it came out of nowhere, it is a message for you. The universe is asking you to revisit, reevaluate, relook, revise, all the re's before you continue going down the path. That doesn't mean that you need to make a sudden change necessarily. Is this retrograde what's making me... This is a question from Hatfield. Is this retrograde what's making me feel more scatterbrained than usual? Yes, it's not the Uranus retrograde and it's not the Saturn retrograde, which is what I'm drilling right now. Yesterday's live was about Mercury retrograde. That is what's causing you to feel more scatterbrained than normal and causing me delay and recall, which I already sometimes have anyway, but it just makes it way worse. So yes, retrograde is what's causing it. But if I'm going to get really specific about it, it's the Mercury retrograde that usually causes scatterbrained feelings. And then, like, when something shifts in your foundation, that would be a Saturn retrograde, usually. And if something changes in, like, you have to revolutionize something, you have to do something that you've never done before, that's a Uranus retrograde, when it happens to reflect something in your life that's already going on. The other thing, so yes, the retrogrades do make you scatterbrained. And, you know, if we looked at your chart, wherever your natal Mercury energy is, then that would be the place where you're usually most affected with the scatterbrained. Thanks for the heart, whoever sent it. I love it. Oh, those are so pretty. Okay. All right. This is not helping the Mercury retrograde. Keep me on topic. Okay. Oh, yeah. Also, the reason why this is a heavier message than normal is because this particular place in our charts, and everyone's going to feel this in their zodiac sign of Taurus and in their zodiac sign of Aquarius, no matter where it's located, everyone's going to be feeling this. It's going to be the second time that this particular energy has been activated. And I believe the first time was the end of 2021. And I don't think either planet was actually in retrograde at that point. So if you think about the way that this works, there were things that were asked of you that foundationally change your life or your boundaries or your structures, that you were being asked to revolutionize. And you may have started putting them into place, or you may have started down the path and then gotten distracted, or you may have already initiated this, and now it's time to reevaluate. But it will be hit a third time. So, just like if you got in trouble at home with a child, like as a child, and you did the same thing to piss off your parents 3 times, you know that each time the punishment gets worse. And I don't want for you to be afraid of the planets or anything, but I do really want for you guys to take this stuff seriously, because these are, you know, when you're dealing with Saturn can literally uproot everything in your life when it is paired with Uranus. And that's not necessarily bad, but if you go ahead and look for it and prepare for it, and you are primed in your brain to go, okay, well, yep, that's it. It might suck. I'm going to be real uncomfortable, but at least I knew it was coming. It is not punishment for me, you know, like God doesn't hate me. This is just what's being asked of me. Then it's a lot easier to deal with. And so I want your brains to be primed, and I do want for there to be a little bit extra attention paid, which is a little bit why I'm speaking to like the idea of punishment. I don't really like to go down those roads, but it happens in my life a lot. Actually, since I started doing astrology, it's like really, really not as much, which is why I really, really, really like to tell you guys how to try to avoid making the universe activate your energy for you. So like, I don't even know if I've said this lately, but like one of my favorite things to say to people is activate the energy that you know is coming. Like you initiate it. You go ahead and look at like where Saturn is in your chart and what kind of foundation you have there and what kind of boundaries you've set there and what you're building. Go ahead and look at it. And then go ahead and look at where Uranus is. It's in Taurus. So go ahead and look at what's happening in Taurus in your chart. Go ahead and look at what kind of things happen in Taurus for you. And then go ahead and expect that whatever area of life Taurus or Uranus and Taurus is in, or in your natal chart, wherever Taurus is, that is going to be where you're going to to be asked to do something new, something different, something revolutionary, something different, something different, something different. And again, it's more tension because Saturn doesn't really do revolution as a sudden thing. Hatfield said, I need to learn how to read my own chart then. It is helpful to learn to read your own chart. Yes. It's also learning a new language. So I'm trying to figure out how to help you guys not have to learn the entire language in order to see what's happening in your chart. But if you pull out your birth chart, any of you guys, and let me show you what symbols you'll be looking at. So if you've had a reading with me, then you'll have a birth chart that looks, let me show, okay, this is just the transits that are today. You'll have a birth chart that looks like this. The places, so what you would want to do is pull up your own chart, whatever chart you have. Hatfield says, yes, that's why I have you. Yes, it is. It is why you have me. And I love having you too. So if you want to pull out your chart at some point, go back and watch the video. You're going to be looking for this symbol right here. It's hard to see with the glare. Okay, so this little symbol, it almost looks like a little devil, but it's not. It's, think of it as a sprouting seed. That's more like what it is. It's Taurus, okay? And then this little blue guy who looks like an alien, that's Uranus, because Uranus would be the most like an alien in your chart. Coming out of nowhere, landing in a different way, making you do something new. But the most important thing really for the message that I'm giving you is look at where this is in your chart, and whatever house number it's in. So the house number is usually the internal circle where the numbers are 1 through 12. So 10, 11, 12. I don't know if that's what that says, but anyway, the house number, whatever area of life that house number correlates with is the area of life that you need to be looking at for the flash of lightning. And then the place where Saturn is Aquarius, and that is this little guy right here. And Aquarius is actually an air energy, even though it has, for whatever reason, a symbol of water with it. I really think it's because it's revolutionary, and the modern ruler of Aquarius is thought to be Uranus, and the traditional ruler is Saturn. So water is conductive of electricity and also the basis for like human form. So it makes sense to me that there would be water and earth coming together in an air sign to create something new. Anyway, that was just me being a nerd. But yeah, so you're going to look there. And so here is really the place that you need to be really careful, because this is where Saturn is. And just be really open to whatever revolutionary ideas are being presented. And go back and look at journals, text messages, emails from the last time these were square. And I can actually look if you give me a second. Uranus 11. Yeah. So it's also part of the reason why this is kind of a big deal is because mine are in two different houses. They're supposed to be in two different houses. So those symbols are supposed to be two different houses. So the one that looks like a sprouting seed, that's Taurus. And the other one that looks like water, that's Aquarius. And they have to be in two different houses. And so the planets are going to be in two. And when I'm saying that they're interacting, so, okay, I see why you would be completely confused. Okay. When two planets, So we have we have planet A and planet B. All right. When two planets are together in the same house, that's a conjunction. Okay? So that's a conjunction. That's not what this is. So in order for this to take place, and a conjunction is like a partnership. It's not necessarily tense. It is two energies coming together. So this is one way that planets manifest themselves in a conjunction. What we are looking at is a square. So you have Taurus here. It's so ugly. And we have Aquarius here. Okay? And because they're at 90 degrees, and they are two different zodiacs. So the planets are two different places. These are the two places where the planets are that I'm talking about. Because this is a 90-degree angle, it is called a square. It's a square. So that is why it's important to have an astrologer, first of all. And that is also why there's so many more combinations than people even realize, because the planets don't have to be together to cause the impact. In fact, most really big changes are caused through squares or oppositions because of the tension. And, if you want for me, like a square, think about this. If you bumped into something, and it was basically two things that were together that didn't have any hard edges, then it would cause you less pain. But if you bumped into a square-shaped object, you would get a bruise. There would be pain. And although squares are not necessarily painful, they do cause tension, right? They do cause something to happen, to change. So it's not like these two planets are getting married and they're like working together. These two planets, this one wants to go this way and this one wants to go this way. And they're not even balancing each other. That would be an opposition. That would be where two energies are being pulled in separate directions, but it's easier to find balance that way. This isn't even that. This is them going, I want to go this way, I want to go this way. And then the place that they meet stubbornly is the square. Okay? So it's tension. Which is part of the reason why it's kind of a big deal. So Hatfield, did that help at all? Or anyone else? You might not still be there. Well, I hope that helped if you go back and watch it or whatever. Yeah. So like I said, astrology is like, I don't even know if people really talk about this, but astrology is like its own language, and it is its own thing entirely, which is why most astrologers have a hard time, including me, obviously, have a hard time breaking down things to a level where people completely understand. And that is like my mission here, I think. Part of my mission on the planet is to make some of this more digestible to people who want to consume it every day, but don't have the desire to study it in an in-depth kind of way. So, yeah, we'll be going on that journey together. All right. So now that we got real into it, do you guys have any other questions? If you want to talk specifically about your personal chart, if you want to email me, I can make a quick little video. For Aquarius doesn't even register on my chart. Aquarius is on your chart. I can't remember what your ascendant is. Hatfield, it's just the waves. Look for the waves, and the waves will be on the outside part of the circle. So don't look at any other part of the circle but the very outside and find the waves. I don't have your chart in front of me. I have this chart. That was not your chart. Hatfield, let me see if I can find her real quick. They're not all saved on the same phone. Let me see. Nope, that's not a person. Anybody else who's watching, if there's a better platform for me to do these lives where you guys could like pop your charts up when it's a small audience, I'm happy to help. I just don't know how to make that happen. All right, Hatfield, I have your chart up. And your water sign, so your, oh shit, what just happened? Okay. Well, is it okay with you if I like put it up here for people to see? Are you okay with me holding up your chart, Hatfield? I have to have confirmation because I'm not, it's kind of like being able to see the inside of someone to me. So, I don't see your answer. Okay, so what is happening for you is that in your natal chart, just like in my natal chart, we actually talked about this, you don't have planets in the house of Aquarius for your birth chart, like of your natal chart for your birth chart. You don't have any planets there. So already this transit is not going to have the same type of impact for you as it has for other people. I assume that's a yes for putting your chart up. Okay. So here's Aquarius. And so this is your birth chart. And I know you know that, but I'm kind of figuring out that this is what, oh, thanks. This is what's might be confusing you. This is your birth chart. And then what I'm talking about is actually transit charts. So transit charts are what's happening in the sky right now. So when I say that Saturn's in Aquarius, that is the chart that is in the sky right now and not your birth chart. But the reason why I refer to your birth chart is because it tells us what area of life and what kind of energies will be involved for you as an individual. So let me show you what that looks like with your chart. Yeah. Okay. So I'm zeroing in on your chart. Well, first let me do this. This inside chart here, this is your birth chart. Okay. So if I covered up the outside, you would see that there's no planets in Aquarius, the sign of Aquarius for you, on the inside circle. And so what I'm talking about is the, I guess, communication or the way that things play out on the map of who you are. On the outside, however, in Aquarius, what's happening right now is there's Saturn. Wait, that's not Saturn. This is Saturn, sorry. Saturn right here. So it's not in your natal chart. So you're not going to have interactions with it like someone would if it was in their natal chart on the exact same degree. Let's see. Yeah, I'm not going to get too complicated about it. But this is probably part of the reason why you're confused is, yeah, you're absolutely right. There's nothing happening in your natal chart in Aquarius. But for you, Aquarius is the area of life that is the 6th house, which is work, pets, daily routines, Basically anything like physical that you do every day, which is why it includes work exams, or not every day, but physical health, that kind of thing. It's the physical everyday stuff, not the cognitive everyday stuff, but the physical everyday stuff. That's your 6th house, okay? And so it's important for us to know that that is where this energy is being played out right now in the sky, because this is what is going to be affected by it. You in particular, the area of life where you're going to be asked to at least reevaluate the structure will be your daily life, your physical routines, how you exercise daily, what do you do in the morning every day? Like all of those things are going to be up for grabs. And basically, a new job or how your jobs are structured now, even because Saturn is structure, boundaries, restrictions, but restrictions are not always bad, right? We don't want a whole lot of excess. So it could work in your favor. We just need to make sure that we're open to whatever's going to happen. And then for Taurus, let me see. Okay, sorry, I got distracted. Someone sent me a message. Taurus for you is in your 9th house. And this bottom part is your natal chart, your birth chart, where your actual North Node is, which I'm not going to go into what that is. But for you in particular, I'm going to go ahead and tell you that what Uranus is asking you to do, hold on, I'll respond to that in a second. What Uranus is really asking you to do is actually it's the way that it's aligning. You see these 2 humps right here? These 2 humps, they're your North Node, okay? And they're coming together right near where this transit is profecting. And what that means for you is that whatever's being asked of you in the 9th house, which 9th house is higher education, religion, like any of the higher level thinking and thoughts, that's where your natal North Node is, and that is where the North Node is right now in transit. So it is karmic. So maybe this entire video was for you, Ms. Hatfield. Because this is karmic for you, and it'll actually be a signal of where your life path is going, and should be going. Let's see. So Hatfield asks, so I really should not take exams while Mercury is in retrograde. Honestly, if you have a choice, no, I wouldn't. It's very likely that your computer will glitch, that kind of thing. Your pencil will break. You'll forget your paper, something will spill in your paper. I mean, like any of that kind of stuff. It's harder to retrieve information. It's harder to organize information. It doesn't mean that you're going to fail a test if you take it, right? It's just the little annoyances if you don't want to have them. And if you want to make a better grade, then if you had to have a chance, schedule it after Mercury retrograde. And if you really had a lot of flexibility, schedule at least 2 weeks after Mercury retrograde. Because when a planet retrogrades, what it's really doing is stopping. And that's part of the reason why the flow is not as clear. And so it also has to have time on the other side once it goes direct to start back up. So the thought processes and like cognitive recall and stuff won't get back to where it typically is for you, whatever that is normal for you, until like 2 weeks after that. But the interference and stuff reduces a lot when it goes direct. So yeah, I definitely, if you have a choice, don't take exams during Mercury, and don't ever sign a contract or initiate something that is like related to any type of contract or litigation during Mercury retrograde. That's never worked out for anybody that I know personally. And if you did have to take an exam, so I don't freak out people who have to take exams right now, just make sure that you bring extra pencils. You arrive early, you start your computer, you restart your computer, you make sure all the updates have happened, you make sure that you're plugged into the landline or the cable, you're not relying on the modem exclusively to get you through it if you're on the internet. Like, that's the kind of stuff that comes up during a retrograde. You should really watch my video from yesterday in my live, if you haven't, because it talks a lot about that kind of stuff. Because retrogrades, are showing us what we need to strengthen or revise and stuff. And I really think that this particular Mercury retrograde has been showing a lot of people what's not working to create harmony in their life. So anyway, all right, my throat's like a little dry, I think. Did I help you though, Hatfield, or anyone else who's watching? Or do you have any other follow-up questions? If you want specifically for me to talk to your chart, email me, and for a small price or whatever, I can make a quick video breaking things down for you in particular, so that you can have it if you don't want to try to work through it on your own. All right. It doesn't look like anyone has any questions. Go online to shannonSocialBillionaire.com, sign up, book a session with me. Hatfield says, I will. I look forward to it. Book a session with me if you want your birth chart read, or you can email me if you want an audio. I'll try to create that as actually a product for a particular transit. I've restructured the pricing, so it's more affordable for people. So tell your friends, check that out. I don't even know the page is completely finished, but it's enough for you to know what's happening and how to get to me. You can always email me. Follow me on TikTok, sbrooks111, Shana at Alia. I'm starting to do a thing. Thanks, Hatfield. I'm starting to do a few informative videos up there because I think that's what's missing. So I'm kind of excited about that. Just did one on Venus where I was partying. So follow me on TikTok. That'll be where my primary content will always go. And Instagram, I'm also active on that. And they have come up with new features, so I might love those. Oh, thanks for all the hearts. Yay. Back at you. All right, cool. I will see you guys next time. Thanks for showing up. And as always, let's inspire ourselves. Bye.